is involved in procuring of raw materials, how to select the proper raw material and how it has to be procured through whom and how the total journey takes forward. I request Mr. Unnikrishnan to be on the dais, and I request Nityashri to speak a few introduction about him.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me an immense pleasure to, to read out the bio of Mr. Unnikrishnan Vijayan. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Just to give a brief introduction about him is that Mr. Unnikrishnan Vijayan is based in Bangalore, and he's currently the head of procurement at ITC Limited. He brings in vast experiences from his previous roles at ITC Limited, and also he's worked at Britannia Industries Limited and Prefetti Van Mele. Mr. Unnikrishnan holds a postgraduate diploma in agribusiness management from National Institute of Agricultural Extension Management, Hyderabad. With his robust skill set that includes supply chain management, procurement, FMCG, team management, and more, he contributes valuable insights to the industry. And he's in this industry for over 17 years in the procurement and inbound supply chain management in the FMCG sector, and comprehensive industrial experience in purchasing raw materials and packaging materials and services in domestic warehouse, freight management, and export-import logistics and planning and budgeting. And his specialty is that he is an expertise in procurement of commodities, inbound supply chain management, strategic purchase in the FMCG sector, and comprehensive knowledge on SAP module. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you, and the stage is all yours, and we are all excited to hear from you more. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in this event. Special thanks to Laghu Udyog Bharati and the nice introduction which you gave for me. Yeah, this is a very small group. It's more like a classroom, can be more interactive. I can come with a presentation. So you can stop me at any point of time. I'll go with my presentation since I prepared one. And in case you need to ask, please go ahead. So I represent an organization which is quite serious in taking initiatives with around farm and farming communities, because it is there in our genes, and if it were not there, we wouldn't have been where we are currently. It all started with tobacco. I represent ITC. Earlier it was Indian Tobacco Company, then now it's ITC. And it's no more tobacco. It is more of food items, wheat flour, rice, dairy, prawns. Most of the commodities which we trade on or which we process are all agri-commodities. So that's where we stand. And millets were never a big portfolio for us, but soon it will be. Not only for us, for many of the likes of us in the branded packaged food sector. Why? I'll come to that later. So that's a very brief background, a company which is very closely related to farming communities, not because of any CSIR pressure, it's because our business, our back end is from the farms. So last year we had the launch of the Year of Millets, a great initiative by the Government of India. And I should apologize that in spite of being an agri graduate and having a reasonably good idea about the millet crops which are available in India, I have never used to use, and I have never tried substituting millets for my rice or roti. Basically my staple, I belong to Kerala, my staple is rice. Twice or thrice rice used to be common. And maybe in 80s and 90s, since government used to give us subsidized wheat, now we have a habit of having chapati in the night in most of the households. But still, millets means a food which is meant for when you're sick, or it's a baby food. And as a baby food, it is ragi, which is quite common in my area. And barnyard millet is used quite commonly when you are sick. Beyond that, I don't think, I can't think of millets. So because of this initiative, the Year of Millets, I started, it started creating awareness. And my organization also started taking it seriously. It came back to me. And why we took it seriously? Because we are in the business of foods. And one of our motto is to help India eat better. And in that endeavor, we try to develop good products for you. We also look at implementing sustainable farming practices. And we try to through our marketing activities, we bring in enhanced consumer awareness. So these are all regular practices, nothing much specific to the millets, but last year was different. Why last year was different? It was different because it was a year of millets. So we started with enhancing our product base. I'll come to those in the subsequent slide. And we started going ahead with our initiative, which is called ITC Mars, through which we connect to the farmers. Farmers can access a lot of information through a mobile app which we have developed. We are connected to close to 50,000 farmers, more than 200 farmer produce organizations across 7 states, across a diversified cross portfolio of crops. So all of a sudden, millets came into the highlight. And then it all started. So a lot of products were launched last year, and most of them are doing quite well. And it is doing quite well. I should say that a lot of demand is coming from the diaspora outside India for some of our cookies. And then we celebrated the success of those products by launching that stamp, celebrating Sri Anna, the ITC Mission Millet stamp. So this is something which we did in collaboration with the Postal Department. We launched a stamp to mark the success of that previous year's launches. I'm setting the context because my topic is opportunities and challenges. So I would like to talk about that with respect to the products which we have in the portfolio. So if we look at the product range, you can see, so I have put all the major products which we have and what are the millets which go into it, each of them. So the first one is extruded snacks. I'm calling out this because these categories are the ones which are using millets currently and which are under evaluation not only in my organization but organizations of my size across India. So extruded snacks, jar flour goes into. Then we have ragi and jar in combinations. So we have a gluten-free flour, which is a combination of ragi and jar predominantly, and somewhere around 30% rice flake, powdered rice flake, which is finely powdered. So that's a substitute for atta, wheat-based atta, gluten-free. We have 2 cookies. These are slightly premium cookies, but these are very successful products. Now in cookies, one of the challenges which we have is getting the binding, the cookie crispiness and the binding, because most of the biscuits, the binding agent is gluten, which comes from wheat, barley, the grains like those. These are free of any wheat or barley or any kind of gluten-based products. And the binding agent is the millet starch itself, which is separately sourced. So this is worth a try, because if you are looking at the technology of these products, then this is worth a try. See how the cookie has come through. Then we have a 5-grain digestive. That's again a multi-millet ragi and jar mix, which it uses maida as a binder. We have 100% ragi products. One is the ragi vermicelli, the ragi flour which we have. Vermicelli again uses some amount of maida as a binder. When I call out maida, I don't mean that maida is something like an evil, because it is propagated like maida being an evil. Maida is not an evil. Maida is like any other grain, it's wheat. It is refined. Refined means the fiber part is taken off, and hence it is extremely rich in terms of carbohydrates and zero fiber. And zero fiber is the part of that food which give you a bit of satiation, that is feeling of fullness. And it also helps in moving the bowel through your digestive tract. Maida, unfortunately, since we refine it, the fiber part goes off. The outer skin of the wheat is taken off and the inner endosperm is powdered, and that is converted to that is what is maida. Maida by no means is a problematic stuff. It is extremely rich concentrated nutrient, mostly carbohydrate and protein in the form of gluten. If you consume maida stuff in moderation, it's okay. Maida gets added to processed foods. It is one of the most versatile flours which we have, can be used in various applications. And you want to make a noodle, you need maida. You need to make biscuits, you need maida. So maida is very versatile, and hence it gets into most of the processed foods. And branded processed foods are mostly carbohydrates, sugars, and a bit of oil. All these are nutrient heavy, calorie rich, needs to be consumed in moderation. There is a lot of fear mongering happening that these are too problematic. I don't subscribe because I am from the industry and I know a bit more of scientific basis of these products. Moderation is the word. So coming to the mix of millets which we are using, we use this major 4 millets: jowar, foxtail, ragi and bajra. These in the multi-millet mix, it is 100% millets. Candyman Fantastic, again that tube, the wafer tube which you see, there's a chocolate paste packed into the tube. The wafer tube which you see is a multi-millet mix plus maida. EP Magic Millets, again you have a certain amount of some around 15-20% of multi-millet mix and rest is maida. So if you look at the complete set of products here, the major grains which we are using, or millets which we are using, is jowar, ragi, bajra and foxtail. And it's mostly jowar and ragi in terms of volumes which I source. Why? There are reasons for that. The other aspect, another class of foods which we are not currently into but is coming up is puffs. Puffs means you heat the grain and it puff up, something like a popcorn. There are a lot of these, even rice puffs you get. So puffs are coming up, puff-based snacks are coming up. And malted flour, which is, I could understand that some of you are making use of malted millet flour. Malted flour is another product line which is coming up, used in baby foods or geriatric foods, the old age people, the foods for their consumption. And these two items and breakfast cereal combinations. So there they need flakes. Basically you cook and roll it, that's it. So these class of products are coming. Most of us are struggling to get suppliers for these items, basically because the manufacturers of such items don't have scale. So details of challenges over there I'll come to in subsequently. So looking at what all we are using and the products which we are using. So we have requirement of jowar, ragi, bajra, foxtail, barnyard, kodo and little millet. But majorly it's jowar, ragi and bajra. The other millets, whichever form you want, other than the whole form, it's quite difficult to get because it's not cropped that widely. We are the largest producer of bajra and I think ragi. Jowar we are I think second or third. And these are available in plenty and various forms of these are available in plenty. Whole is always available and whole has always been processed. Flour of course is available. Large scale processing is happening on flour for the first 3. Rava and grits is another form. So from whole, rava and grits and meals and flour, all these are through roller flour milling. So the first 3 class of vertical, if you look at the first three class of vertical products, those are quite easy to get. There are manufacturers who have certain amount of scale. The next 3, so out of that, flakes and puffs, even these are manufactured, these are made by small scale industries, but scale is a problem. Quality is consistency is a problem. And there is a lot of promising products coming up in that front. Because puffs traditionally is perceived as a good, a healthy snack, an easy snack. Flakes, it goes into ready mixes. We use a lot of oats flakes, barley flakes, etc. Millet flakes is as good as an option. But when we go for sourcing this, I don't get many suppliers who are capable to source to our requirements. What are our requirements, I'll tell you, or not in terms of just volumes, but the technical requirements. Starch is a bit of a specialized item, and the technologies, whoever has developed the technologies, it's all patented. So millet starch is something which is quite difficult to get. We're using it in one of our biscuits where it is 100% millet based, which we have seen earlier. Now coming to the challenges. Operating scale, that's the biggest challenge for my suppliers. Why? Because there was never a big market, and all of a sudden the market opened up last year. Lot of inquiries started coming up from big processors, and whatever operating capacities for jowar flour is there, bajra is there, ragi is there. The big capacities, most of them are getting now 100% occupied. Big capacities means something upwards of 25 to 30 metric ton output per day. It's a flurry of products which came up from various manufacturers, and that's slowly sucking up this capacities. But there is a huge potential of potential suppliers, too small in scale, too scattered, and who are not really that very tech savvy, just got into it, had a very small market to cater to, want to expand, but have problems with respect to financing, technology, sensitiveness to various regulations and compliance. Because when you're small, nobody really bothers you. But when you want to expand and get associated with the biggies, then your FSI compliances, FSR related compliances, food safety, basic food safety related compliances, basic food defense related process controls, these have to be in place. And many of our small entrepreneurs are not really very sensitive to it because nobody bothered to sensitize. Even to get a FSSAI license was maybe 5-6 years back, that compliance was not there. Now people are complying because the government agencies are quite stringent with respect to inspections and taking punitive measures. So that is one issue. Operating scale is an issue. Operating scale, since they are small in operating scale, a lot of efficiencies goes off. Inefficiencies are there with respect to product output, yields, etc., and the costing goes up, and the supply chain costs go up. Technology, again, most of the smaller guys are working with, so they try to process multiple millets in the same machinery, and they can't invest, and because of that there are quality problems and yield related problems. Then everything is limited to bajra, jowar and ragi because that is easier to source, and that's what is available in scale. The other millets are relatively, if you want that in any other form other than the whole dehulled form, it's quite difficult to source. So coming back to regulations and compliance, there are issues with respect to the regulatory aspects of flours which are coming out, which are being manufactured from millets, especially jowar and ragi. The moisture levels, it is quite strange. The whole grain can have a higher moisture, but the flour is having a lesser moisture, while flour is manufactured generally by wetting it and then grinding. So most of the industry representatives have been representing to FSI to change that and give us a much more relaxed spec on the flour front. Similarly, there are specifications with respect to alcoholic acidity, which is basically the rancidity parameter, which is quite stringent and quite difficult to get. So what happens is that I need ragi flour and jowar flour. My manufacturer takes in the grain which is in the range of 12 to 14% moisture, grinds it, gets around 11-12% moisture level in the flour, because in the grinding the friction heats up and the moisture level dips, and gets around 11%, then has to go for a roasting. it is additional energy which is being consumed over there. It's of no use to me, I don't need the roasting. But to bring it down to the FSI parameter level of 10%, they have to go for roasting. Or some kind of tinkering with the process such that the moisture levels come down. If you go for roasting, then your acidity levels might go up. There could be off notes which are not desirable in the product. So that complications are there. So we are, when we are focusing on millet, there was the kind of focus which we have currently on millet products was not there earlier. So nobody thought of looking at the regulatory and aspects of it, and hence the specifications. Now many of us are interested in millet products, and we find that some of the specifications are quite difficult to comply with. Storage and shelf life is a big issue. Millet storage, raw millet storage is relatively okay, but some of the products like jor flour or grits, etc., once it is milled, the shelf life is not there. It's not there because of the innate nature of the product. So 30-40 days maximum it will stay, and after that it will become stale. Relative to that, wheat flour can stay up till 6 months. Rice flour also, if you process it properly and roast it, it will stay for 6-7 months or even 9 months. So that's a challenge. We need to figure out how to deal with this. Productivity and quality variability is always a challenge. It starts not only at the processor's end, from the farm level also. This is a class of crop which was just not focused on for possibly varietal improvements, yield improvements, etc. Farmer also, what they do is, it's a very marginal crop. Most of these millets are marginal crops, not very seriously taken compared to a cereal crop like rice or wheat. Very low management and hence very low yield. 800 to 1500 kgs per hectare is what we get normally. Shorter duration also, because rice and wheat will take around 90 days plus. This will come into harvest in 60-70 days itself, most of these millets. But having said that, everybody has been taking this for granted. So yield levels are relatively low. Now what will happen is that eventually at the current yield levels, and if our demand keeps going up, and it is likely to go up because now there is a realization from the general public that millets are good. So if the yield levels remain at where we are and the demand keeps going up, these millets will start becoming not affordable to common people, which means only the